Okay, welcome. My name is Rufus Reid. Would you tell everyone your name, please?
Larry Siebert. Brian Pronto.
Brian who?
Pronto.
Okay.
Wayne Morrow.
How many of you are, I assume all of you are rhythm section players. How many piano players do we have? Okay. How many bass players? Good. How many drummers? Guitarist? Vibraphone players? All right. Trumpet players? Saxophone? We don't have any foreigners in here? Oh, okay. We're just gonna play a little bit. I want you to use your ears, and I'm gonna quiz you after we play. Don't worry about it. You all pass. You know. You go ahead. That was fun. Yeah. How many of you knew this song? Not you. You should know it. What's the name of it? Okay. So I assume most of you did not know that, right? Raise your hands if you didn't know it. All right. No problem. There's a lot of stuff I don't know either. But now you can't say that anymore. When you hear that song again, it's called Alone Together. It's a great song. I wish I wrote it. It has what I call a wonderful playground. I call the chord changes to songs playgrounds. Because we have fun in playgrounds. We're supposed to anyway, right? You play tennis or you play basketball or you play, everything's got rules and they have guidelines, and if you step out of bounds, well, same thing here. Each song has its own boundaries, playgrounds, Alone Together. A lot of people like to play it because it has a beautiful melody and the playground is fun. Okay. Can anybody, not you, can anybody tell me what key it was in? D what? How did you know that? You have perfect pitch. No, don't apologize for that. Did any of you know that it was minor or major, or did you think about that? Be honest, it's okay. What did you think it was in? You thought it was in the minor, okay. Did anybody else think it was in minor? Okay, don't be shy, okay. Great. What I'm asking you now is, this is what I think we as jazz musicians, all creative musicians, have to have a place in their subconscious that's going on. These gentlemen and I, we played yesterday for the very first time, and we did not play this song. So what you just heard, I just heard for the first time. We just, as a group, we heard it for the first time. If we play it again, which we could, but I guarantee you it will not be the same. Because, first of all, I don't want it to be the same. So that's the premise. I don't want it to be the same. In other words, I'm going to ask you a question. How did we start this song? Okay. How did we start the song? Yes.
Just kind of like played around with chords.
Well, what does that mean, played around?
Playground, play with those chords.
How did we do it? We started on the first note and we built it up, okay? But now you're all musicians now. What did we do to the song? Huh? Rubato. Everybody know what that means? No? Except when you look at your music and it says rubato, you wait for your band director to tell you what that means. Right? Who can tell me what rubato means? Okay, half right. No tempo, but it's free. What's free? What moves? This song or any music?
Whatever it is, it's in the
Okay, I'm looking for a word.
The interpretation
Of? Okay, now, did we ever play the melody in time? In a metronomic? Not at the very beginning, but eventually we did. Did we not? What I'm asking you to do, when we listen to music, especially we as creative musicians in playing, we have to be able to recall events that happened. And it has to start, first of all, before we actually begin to really be able to, because everything that whatever instrument you play, it has to be manifested here first. It has to be initiated here before you can actually make your instrument do what you want it to do. So, but before you actually even play your instrument, you should learn how to listen to events that are happening. I'm not asking you. For a long time, I could care less about what key it was in. I don't have perfect pitch. I have relative pitch. I figured out later on. And for a long time, I didn't know what those little hieroglyphics, the little zeros and little sharp numbers and little plus signs and all that kind of stuff. I had no idea and could care less. But eventually I learned those were symbols that related to something. All I knew, if I played a note and my ear says, ooh, that's ugly, I moved my finger to another note to make it sound better. Eventually I began to understand, think, but listening, and then someone says, oh, that's a minor chord. How many of you have pianos in your homes? Good. How many of you actually sit down at the piano at home? Okay. How many chord sounds are there? How many basic chord sounds are there? You don't know. You're a drummer, you don't know? That's no excuse. I know a lot of drummers would like to take you out in the back there. Now, if you're a musician though, right? All right. I need all of you. You don't have to be a pianist. I'm not a pianist, but I'm friendly with this wonderful instrument here. This is the orchestra. Even this gentleman who plays a chordal instrument must be friends with the piano because the chords sound different. They come at you different. How many basic chord sounds are there? 7. All right. Tell me. Which ones? What? No, not scales. Basic chord sounds.
Is it like Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, mixed with?
Those are scales. Those are called modes. Natural minors. And what? Major, minor, diminished, augmented, what? Suspended, demented. I mean, I'm being a little funny here, but if I said there were 579 chords that you all had to learn before you left this room, you want to take me outside and beat me up. But there's only really 4. Some people say only 3. That's not so hard. So what are they? What's the most... What is that? Are you sure? I didn't sound like you were sure. Yes. Well, how's it made up? 1, 3, 5. Okay, so what is this? Ha! What is it? Who does not really know that? Don't be afraid. Okay. Can you all count to 13? Huh?
Yes, sir.
If you come to the piano, in fact, Don't touch my bass. But come on up here. Come up so you can see the keyboard. Come on up. Come on around so you can, but make sure you can just see. Now, as far as I'm concerned, like I said, if it was like 200 or 300 chords, I mean, that's a lot to deal with, but we were only talking about, all of you are intelligent enough, you know what 4 things are. You should be able to, and they all sound different. So here's middle C. In fact, have a seat. Do you know that's middle C? Okay. Play middle C and all the white notes and just count all the way up to the count. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep going. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Now, use both hands. And we're going to put the pinky on the C. 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5. Put your foot on that pedal right there. 1, 3. Now play them together. Play them all at the same time. What kind of chord is that? How do we make it minor?
You flat the 3.
So you make the 3, right? Now play. Ah. Now, how do we make it diminished?
Flat 5.
You make the, play them separately. Play them separately. 1, flat 3. No, flat 3, 2. Now play them together. One more time. What is it? All right, now, play me just a plain old minor. Minor. Now she has to remember. You have to recall what you just did seconds ago. How do we make it augmented? Sharp the 5. So go 1, 3, and sharp the 5. Play them separately. Sing it. Da, da, da. Play it, sing minor. Da, da. Oh, play minor. Minor, flat 3, and G. Sing it. Da, da. Oh my goodness, I don't want harmony now. I just want to know. Da, da, da. Again. All right, now, what's the 7th? Let's make it major 7th. So count all the way up to 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now add that note with all those other. Ooh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Do it again. Oh, let's make it a 9. Add a 9 to that. What? Ooh, now make it 13. 13, what's 13? Did you, there you, no? 13, what is 13? Count. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There it is. Ow! It is not rocket science. Now let's make it a dominant chord. How do we make, that's a major chord she just played. Now I want a major 7th chord, a major 9th chord, a major 13th chord. But now we want to make it a dominant 13. How do we do that? Huh? Only flat to 7. Okay, so do the same thing you did before. Right, but now put the 13 in the 9. And the 13. Ow! Great. Now, what if we wanted to make it, this is what jazz musicians really love. This is the jazz chord. Sharp 9. You would take the 9th chord and sharp. Right. It's really not rocket science. Oh, good. Now that's right. We keep that one. You got that note, but now play them together. Put the 7th here, and put the 3rd here, and then put the sharp 9 here. Put this. There you go. Stretch to this one. Now play them both. Yeah. Make sure. Ooh, there it is. Now, in just, okay, now go back to the seats. In just less than 10 minutes, what's your name? Caroline played all the basic chords. Let's give Caroline a hand. Was that hard? Is that difficult?
Yes, sir.
You all can do it. All of you can do it. You don't have to go and get a driver's license to get it. You do not have to apply for it, except you must sit down at the piano and use your brain. And I know all of you have brains because you're intelligent enough to play jazz at school, go to the classes. But it's if you can just learn these basic stuff, this is what we use. This is what Bach used. This is what Bartok used. This is what Duke Ellington used. This is what everybody uses to put those little black dots on the paper that you guys read. For the longest time, I didn't even know any of that stuff either, because nobody even told me. Especially, how many of you are at least 14? Wow. I didn't learn this stuff until I was almost into my 20s. And you know, the older you get, it's harder to learn stuff because you don't really want to learn that stuff. But if you can do this is, how many chords do we have? Major, minor, diminished, augmented, and the, no? What's the dominant? Now, the suspended one is like a little paprika added to it. That sharp 9, that's like a jalapeno, some salsa. You know, the minor one, you put a little, you know, like paprika gives it color, but it doesn't really hurt the taste so much. In fact, you almost can't taste it. But I like a little cilantro on top of it. Just gives it, put a little garlic. Ooh. You know, it just gives color. And then you got it. Then you learn to play it on the piano, and then you play it on your instrument. And before you know it, you look at songs that you already been playing for 5 years, and they got little chord symbols up there. That's what they are. And then you can start investigating and having some more fun. Now, I'm asking you, again, was that difficult to do?
No, sir.
Would it be something that you could do when you get home tomorrow? Okay, I need you to do that. I need you to do that. So, and then the scales that you talked about, they fit there, because every chord, there's a scale. Every chord, there's a scale that fits that. Now, you said, well, I just want to come to a rhythm section clinic. Well, you can't be a good rhythm section player if you don't really know your chords that well. And then you have to recall every day, make yourself do it over and over again until, what's your name? What is it? Now, how old are you? How long have you been saying that name? Oh, you were probably 3 years old when you said your name. You were probably just getting it together, but you were still, you knew it. So, you know, you've been, but as soon as you say your name, you say it like this, just because it's there. It's part of you. It's part of your fabric. It is you. Trust me, most of you don't, because you live in an age of instant gratification. You got the bipper for the TV, and you in fact, it's less than a 1/10 of a second that you bip through, and you don't. I know you're faster than me, and I'm like that, because you say, oh, that's nothing, that's nothing, nothing, nothing. Oh. But when we learn things, it doesn't come to us that quickly. We need to be able to let it, taste it, chew it, digest it, so that you can really, that's why you should eat slower, so you can actually enjoy the food that you eat, instead of just It's interesting how I equate food with music, you know. But I mean, I get a chance to travel all the world and taste some great food, but you have to really enjoy it, you know. I love to play so much. I have passion, probably more passion now than I did when I was your age. And I had a lot then. So I wish upon you that you are able to continue and keep your passion about music or anything. Because if you don't have passion about anything that you do, whether you become professional musicians, I'm not concerned with that. But you keep music in your life, just be passionate about everything that you do, and you'll be successful. Okay. Any questions, comments about anything? Yes, sir.
When you remember a chord, I asked a question about how your brain works in terms of your instrument. When you remember a chord, do you remember all of the positions on the instrument simultaneously, where you can use that? Or do you remember it in terms of like more linear, like I'm here?
Well, interesting question, but I mean, it's a twofold question, because if, first of all, if I play a F scale or a F chord, what are the notes in an F chord? F, A, and I'll put the F on top. Now, that's a, what kind of chord was that? Major triad. What is this? It's an arpeggio, but what did I play? I played this first. One was, oh, did you forget already? So I might learn this because it's an octave higher, but it's the same sound. But that's a major scale, a chord, and I'll play a major scale based on that. I can play it this way, or I can play it that way, or I can play it. You have to hear the sound in your head before you can do anything. If you can't hear the sound, you can't play it. Indulge me for a moment. Sit up straight and sing this note. And sing it an octave higher. I can't hear you. Sing louder. Keep it going. You're music students now. You should be able to sing. You go to sing. No, keep going. Sing louder. kind of chord is this? Don't stop. You can say major, minor, what is it? Huh? Keep going. Ah, come on, give me some, like you're gonna yell at your brother or sister. Ah. Keep going. What is this? Keep going. Don't stop. The brushes. No hi-hat. See, I can make something out of nothing. You can have fun. You have to be, but you have to be willing to create. But it's only two notes. 2 notes, and we can move the world. It's so, I mean, but you have to be willing to just let it hang out. And then as you know more and you listen to more, I want you to get fired up about why you play. I'm gonna ask you a very serious question now, a very serious one. How many of you actually pick up your instrument when you really don't have anything that the band director has told you to practice? How many of you just pick it up and just want to play? Oh, thank you very much. Okay. Because see, if you're waiting for that person to tell you what to do, then maybe you should just go on over to the math department and just don't play music, because it's not fun for you anymore. But you've already told me then, well then add this to it. You have yet to become engaged. You have yet to have the fun of your life. The more you start understanding about the music, the more fun you're going to have. Trust me. And I'm not talking about just jazz. I used to hate classical music. You know why? Because I was ignorant of it. I didn't understand it. Those other people, you know, the long hair, I got a lot of hair too, but those other had another kind of long hair music. But basically I just didn't know about it. Most people are ignorant about jazz because they don't know anything about it. And once I started playing a note in an orchestra at the bottom of, I'll never forget that day when I went to college. And I was in the orchestra and I played a low E. I forget what note it was, to really be honest, but it was the bottom of the note, this Shostakovich fifth, this one section, and I heard the horns and the violas, and I said, oh man, listen to that chord. It was thrilling. Now the young ladies or the other young people, I went into school later because they were playing the same notes, but they were just playing the notes. They weren't really hearing all the other chords. So I was already having more fun because I was hearing chords. And then I said, oh man, I got to go check out, get me a score and see what they were doing. I mean, I've never studied composition. I've never done any of those things. I just buy books. If he plays something, what was that? I like that. Then tell me what that was. I'm always asking questions. You must always ask. If you don't know, ask. And then you won't be. Right now, you have learned something that you didn't know when you got here. At least you let me believe you didn't know. And now you know. Now you're not ignorant of that. But don't be stupid and continue to do the things that you've been doing. Because if you don't know, you don't know. There's no way you can know if you don't really work at it. But if someone tells you something, and then you say, oh, okay, I understand. Now you can move on to the next thing. But to me, you have to do these things. As jazz musicians, we must do these things. Classical musicians are commanded to just interpret the music that has been written. They're not allowed, maybe it's interpretation a little bit, but they can't change notes and stuff. That's not allowed. But rhythm section players, especially in the jazz, you have it there, and most people write stuff down there, but if you can come up with something better, you can go for it. You can go for it. But that means you have to listen and you must be inquisitive. Okay? Questions, comments, questions.
Exercise with, were we singing in A? Is that what we were saying?
Actually, C.
We were singing in C. Okay. When we were singing in C, was that sort of you're referring to when you would learn the chords best
Oh,
against the drone?
well, sure. Why not? It's there. I mean, I even practice scales, a chromatic scale. Let's say we got the low E. If I play this note and I play that note, what does it sound like together? What kind of sound? Minor. So if I do this, what does that sound like? Major. But it's also say, oh, okay. What is that interval? Oh, what is that note? That's a tritone. Now, I do this also, it's good for the hear, and then you mentally you say, oh, that's a fifth, sixth, tritone, whatever, but you can play it in tune, because if it's not in tune, it really doesn't sound good. What is this? Huh? Fifth. You can go to the piano and check it out. Piano won't lie to you, it's right in your face too. All I did was play a chromatic scale, and then you hear all these sounds. And then you work on your tone production, your everything. But so you work all of that simultaneously, and before you know it, what is that? Major. Doesn't that sound like a major chord? Triad? Just two notes though. And you can play the extra octave up above, but it's still minor. So it's all there. It's really there. It's really not rocket science. If it was really something really, really difficult, then I think you would have something to be righteously complaining about. Okay? Now you have to start listening to records, and then you start developing your ears of how to sit down. Most of you haven't I've been quite proud of you of sitting here fairly attentive to me, but most of you, if I ask you to be quiet for 5 minutes, literally don't text, don't do anything, don't just be quiet for a moment and listen. because you really need to be able to have that ability to do that so you can be in control of you. Okay? So you have yet to have fun yet. You have yet to have the fun that I think, so look forward to that. We're going to play another song for you. You ever heard of a man by the name of Dave Brubeck? Ever heard that name before? Dave Brubeck is one of the icons of jazz history. He's a pianist. Oh, Dave Brubeck is in his 80s. Wrote a lot of songs, still writing, and he still does about 100 concerts a year with his group. And this is a song that Miles Davis liked of his and played it, and a lot of other people have recorded and played it. It's called In Your Own Sweet Way. And the reason we're going to play it because I like it. And he said he knew it, and he said he knew it, and he said he knew it. So I said, okay, let's do it. Now, if they don't know it, then we can't play it. See, you should not play something you don't know, because then why put your head under the guillotine? Say, go ahead, cut it off. Go ahead. Just willingly if you don't know something, say, I don't know it. And then you go and get a book and learn it. And then you come back and say, now I know it. So, I mean, you are in control of everything. 1, 2, A flat, 2, 3, 4. Just one chorus each and we can go. It's got a great playground. Freddie Green, Freddie Green. Out, mellow, double time. I deliberately did something that they had no idea we were going to do it. I don't do it to be malicious or to do it to trip anybody up. They play well enough, but they just jumped on it. And we did, you can do anything you want to do, but you have to know how it sounds. If you don't know how it sounds, you're going to get hurt. And then I had to go buy some Band-Aids for you. But have fun. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can do it too. You can do it too. If you liked the feeling that you just felt here, and if you didn't like it, then you weren't listening. Because I think if you really listen, no, I'm not trying to think, if you really listen to it, I think more people, if they actually heard really good music, when they actually heard jazz and heard it played well, they would like it. When I heard the orchestra play the music, I said, man, it was great. Have fun. We'll see you later. Thank you.